And between you and me, guys, he was a good guy. I mean, you guys will want me to say he was a scumbag. He was going to throw me in prison. He was doing his job. He was a good guy. And I approached him like a man, and I said, I forget what his name is now. I said, excuse me, can I have a word with you? And he goes, because of our situations, we can't really talk, but I'll give you 2 minutes. And I said to him, listen, I did what I did. I just played the same broken Joey Diaz record for him, of what I was doing in those days. It was always everybody else's fault. It was the world's fault. It was that my mom died. It was this. It was that. It was just fucking excuses that I give myself, that we all give ourselves. After prison, I stopped doing that excuse, and I copped to whatever the fuck I do. If you do it, you did it, and cop to it. Who gives a fuck? Who are they to judge you anyway, But I was dumb at the time. I was 25 fucking years old. It was 1988. And I went up to him, and I went up with my fucking thing, and he looked at me, and he goes, listen, man, I appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate that you're trying to get into college. I appreciate that you got your GED. He goes, I appreciate that you're doing these things. But you also have to consider that you did a crime. And it was a crime that there could have been a potential for violence. A bullet could have gone off. A neighbor could have been shot. Something. It could have been a potential for violence. You have to face the fucking music. Nothing has ever cut my stomach like those words when he said it to me. This was way before comedy. This was way before people were calling me out. I lived a life where nobody would call me out because I was fucking nuts. I was fucking nuts. They didn't know what I was going to do to him or how I was going to react. But this guy said shit to me that he wasn't lying. He goes, listen, man, I looked over your folder. I looked over the investigative reports. And I looked over who the fuck you've been for the last whatever years. He goes, you've been chucking and jiving. He goes, that's your gift, and I appreciate it that you have that. And I appreciate it that you're doing all these things, but you've been chucking and jiving. It's time for you to pay the fucking piper. And I'm sorry to have to be the person to do that. I'm really sorry, and I apologize to you. And in time, it'll make you a better person. I looked at him like, how is jail going to make me a better person when I have options of actually going to college? I didn't understand where he was coming from. I needed to fucking change. He read me, and I remember we were about to the frozen owl food, where the shit that you pick, like they have like corn dogs and frozen egg rolls and shit like that. There's no windows. I still remember that he was looking through shit and he was telling me this, making eye contact. But when he told me that Chuck and Jive would be lying, like I nearly fucking died because he wasn't lying. He told me the fucking truth. He was like, listen, man, it's time for you to fucking pay the piper. You've been fucking chucking and jiving, moving along all your life. He goes, I read the reports out of San Francisco. You had police contact up there. You had police contact in New Jersey. You had police contact in New York. And I've read all these fucking files, and it's time for you to pay for some of your things. I shook his hand. I said, thank you for your time. He shook my hand. He told me, thank you for understanding. And I walked out of there. I think George came to me 2 weeks later and said he wanted to move back to New York, that he had gotten an opportunity in framing. And that gave me time to think about what that man said to me. But that's why this thing in Boulder is just mind-boggling to me. It is something that it's going to continue to happen now. I think this is the first time in American history that there was 2 mass shootings in 1 week. The other one I think was Asian. It was more of Asians in Florida. I don't know what happened. Like I said, I'm not up on the news anymore because of how down it brought me. I tried to avoid Yahoo with the fucking plague. I tried to avoid Facebook and the Twitter page. I post and I get the fuck out of there. Like I said this morning, I seen the Suzanne Summers thing, and that at least broke the, I laughed, I giggled at the fucking, whatever. But then there's the reality of things. Numbers are going back up. Whatever's going on in South Beach with people jumping up and down. I mean, what do you expect What do fucking people expect? You've had us in a cage for a year. You've fucking fucked with us about unemployment. You fucked with us about race. You fucked with us, I mean, you know, telling us numbers that just don't make sense, telling us things that don't make fucking sense. I'm sitting here the other night with my fucking wife, and she's watching New Jersey 12 for the fucking weather. And I swear to God, we tried to catch it, like, because it starts every half hour on the hour. So you could try to catch the end. But for some reason, we let it run into the 10 o'clock fucking hour. We were doing something. I was at my desk, and we were downstairs in the basement. And the guy goes, fucking, there's a new variant in Brooklyn. You know, it's all around Brooklyn. But we're opening up restaurants, 75% in New York. So, yeah, people are walking around like, what do I believe and what don't I believe? Mental health, guys, is at an all-time fucking high. All-time fucking high. We could turn our backs on it, and we can make believe, you know, half of you that are watching this fucking podcast or listen to the podcast are feeling things that you've never felt before. I am. I can't. If you want me to sit here and tell you fucking that my world is fucking tremendous, I'll lie to you and tell you that. My wife is healthy. I'm healthy. My daughter's healthy. They're back in school. I love what I'm doing down here. But I got to be honest with you. The days are long. Your mind seems to go into different places because the day is so long and you're not doing what you used to be doing and living. I mean, my life is a little better than what it was than when I got here. You could see it in my face. I'm happier. I'm healthier. You know, everything around that is working. But for most Americans, it's not a fucking party right now. It's not a fucking party. We're learning how to Zoom. We're learning how to work at home. We're learning how to deal with our kids not being in school. We're learning so many fucking different things that it's over fucking whelming right now. You know, what vaccine do I take? I mean, we're all trying to do the right thing. We're all trying to fucking to decide what vaccine to take. But every 2 days, that's gonna give you blood clots. This one is giving you this. This one is giving you that. Why can't we just focus on one fucking thing?